Now, guys, you know that I love my weird date and history sort of thing. And this time of the year, back in 1985, it was revealed the Navy paid $640 for toilet seats that cost $25. They didn't actually learn their lesson because recently it was reported that the Department of Veteran Affairs spent $8 million on solar panels that were never used, and Georgia Tech received an $118,000 grant to study weather. You know, Uncle Sam's got no problem wasting your money, but let's talk about this. What steps can we do to prevent us from paying more than legally necessary in taxes for them to use for things like this?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the way the government wastes our money, it's just absolutely insane. It's so frustrating, especially if you look at things like what you were just talking about there with the Department of Veteran Affairs, $8 million on solar panels. I think about the veterans that are, in the streets that could use our help.
Yeah.
Sure.
So much rather see. I think about like what we're doing over at Hooves. We're not funded by the government. We're bootstrapped, raising money from local businesses and individuals to save veterans with post-traumatic stress. There's so many better things that they could do. And the thing about that is everybody that's listening to the show, it is not your patriotic duty to pay more than $1 than your fair share to the United States government. Now, Chris, I know in the past we've talked about this topic before. There's actually a website where if you do want to feel patriotic to the government, you can go to a website and you can actually make a donation to the government to donate money to them.
An anonymous donation, yeah. If you feel so inclined. I don't know what it is off the top of my head, though, because no one goes there.
I wonder, how many people would go there? It wasn't something I realized until we did some research in the past show. So our job, and I think your goal, is to try to keep and minimize the amount of taxes that you pay. So there are strategies to lower taxes in retirement time, and we want to look at those strategies on how to lower taxes in retirement time. Now, what I have done over the years is I've tried to take a look at all the different ideas, and I am a checklist driven person. That's really how I tend to work. So what we did is we put together what I would refer to as the Millionaire Retirement System. It's the Tax Saver Checklist. So first and foremost, what I would say is I'm not a CPA and not an accountant. You should always talk with a tax professional, before you make any important financial decisions. But our job is to work hand in hand. One of the reasons I think people love working with us is we take that comprehensive approach. So whether you have a good CPA or whether you need a CPA, we're willing to work hand in hand with your tax professional to try to keep the government away from your money. And how we do that is we look at things like, IRA and Roth IRA contributions. That's one of those things that you have a deadline coming up, this year again before you file your taxes. There's certain types of eligibility. Again, the new Secure Act 2.0 went into effect in December of 2022. That kind of changes some different things for different people's ages. We have things like Roth conversions. It may make a ton of sense either from a strategic or a tactical standpoint to look at paying some taxes now. In many situations, may not make sense to wait to tell the government, let's figure it out later, because tax rates could be higher. Next, you want to look at optimization for investment accounts on tax efficiency. What type of holdings that you have in which account makes a difference. You want to look at a tax-efficient withdrawal plan for retirement time and how you pull money out. Should you pull more money out of, IRAs, your 401ks? Do you pull more money out of your non-retirement accounts? Do you pull money out of your Roth IRA? If you're wondering how to pull money out, the Tax Savers Checklist, we can go through that. Utilizing tax-free money to pay things like different investment expenses, evaluating your tax-free investment options, understanding what those options are, looking at how you do your charitable contributions, especially for those of you who are over the required minimum distribution age. There can be some ways that can help lower taxes if you're charitable minded. If you want to do bigger things, looking at qualified charitable distributions. If you're under the age 59 and a half, things like 72 distributions and how to, avoid things like a 10% early withdrawal penalty. Estate planning. There's different rules that apply. You think about things like Medicare and what the expenses are with Medicare, and you have things like surplus taxes. You have income means test. Leveraging your income brackets to take advantage of them, capital gains harvesting, capital gains loss harvesting, tax-deferred loss mitigation, 529 plans for college planning, beneficiary list. And if your head isn't spinning by now, just realize that the government has so many different things, it almost makes it tough, if not impossible, for the average retiree to navigate it all, as well as to keep it up to date. Just know that if you want to find out if there's some ways that you could look to strategies on lowering taxes in retirement time, give us a call. What you'll do is use this tax saver checklist. You can use it with your tax professional. You can use it with us. But let's go through the tax saver checklist. We're just simply going to check the box applies, or we're going to check the box does not apply. And by doing so, it's going to allow us to develop what are the areas in your situation we need to take a look at. That tax savers checklist, we can get that to you. It's available by reaching out to us.
Again, the number to do so, 419-794-3030. You can also go online, arhq.com. I think it goes without saying that the less money you're paying out to the government, legally, of course, got to always say that, legally, the more money you get to keep towards your retirement. Knowing that is one thing. How do you go about doing that? Take advantage of this. Take a look at that tax saver checklist. Once again, 419-794-3030. Want to thank you, as we always do, for spending a little part of your day with us here on America's Retirement Headquarters, home of the Retirement Guys formula and America's Medicare Associates. Please have a great week ahead of you. Guys, thank you as always. And as we wind down here, want to leave you with the final word.
Yeah, just say thanks again for all of our new listeners. If you haven't yet, stop over to our Facebook or our YouTube channel. Just type in America's Retirement Headquarters and punch that subscribe or like button to make sure that you stay in the know on our How to Retire series. We'd be happy to continue to connect with you, share a bunch of past resources with you. And just remember, when you think retirement, think America's Retirement Headquarters, home of America's Medicare Associates and the Retirement Guys formula.